Hello, kings and queens, and welcome to my video journal. I'm Steffanie Rivers. Come on in for the conversation. We want to welcome you. I am tri-casting on YouTube and Facebook Live and LinkedIn. So we want to welcome you if you're on any of those platforms. Come on in and be ready to like, share, and subscribe, and even comment about what we're talking about today. We want to welcome our new viewers, and if you are returning one, we want to welcome you back. So come on in and get ready for the conversation. Some of us, if you've grown up anywhere basically and you have a praying grandmother or you have praying parents, or you might be a prayer warrior yourself, you know about this scripture. It talks about how can you talk to your brethren about the issues that they have about the twig in their eye when you have a plank in your own eye. So that is coming from Matthew chapter 7, 4 and 5. And so when I think of that in layman's terms, that means to me, how can you point a finger of blame at one person when you automatically that has three fingers pointing back at you? So if I had a chance to talk to any of the people in Congress, I would say that to them, because when it comes to trying to investigate what happened on Capitol Hill, the insurrection, this Capitol Hill storm on January 6th, a lot of those Congress people are against that investigation, yet they're so quick to want to run over to Haiti to try to figure out who was it who assassinated Haitian President Jovenel Moïse. They want to run over there thousands of miles away, but they don't want to go up the street and have that same energy when it comes to investigating what happened on Capitol Hill. But despite that, the Capitol Hill hearings started last week. So you probably had a chance to watch some of the hearings. They opened up those hearings with Capitol Hill police officers and District of Columbia police officers testifying about what they experienced while trying to defend the Capitol on that day. And now, out of all the questions that they asked, here's what they didn't ask. They didn't ask, why is it, Capitol Hill and DC cops, that you did not shoot at your attackers? You know, you talked about how they traumatized you. They attacked everybody. They were breaking down, breaking glasses, breaking through doors, doing all this. And they talked about what it was that they experienced, but they didn't ask them, why is it that you had so much restraint against the attackers? Was it because police officers and law enforcement officers, is there some type of training where they only shoot unarmed Black and brown people? But when it comes to white people being armed and attacking you, is there something in your programming that says you should show restraint towards those people? That would be the question that I would ask. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, because apparently, or was it that these cops did not attack because they recognized some of those attackers from the last Fraternal Order of Police convention? Now, why would I say that, you might ask? So as you're looking at this, be sure to like, share, subscribe so that the next time I post new videos, you'll be the first to know. So according to, in case you missed it, or you didn't know this part about those attackers, there were a lot of people on Capitol Hill that day, and we saw the video and we saw the pictures, and that just, you know, that's the nobody seems to ask, why did you not shoot these people? Now, that's not to say that I want people to be slaughtered, but that's to say these same law enforcement officers don't have a problem shooting unarmed Black people, unarmed brown people on the side of the street who are showing no use of force, they're not attacking them at all, but they don't have a problem pulling out their pistols, their weapons, and shooting them. But when people come to the Capitol armed and they actually are attacking you and attacking the place that you're supposed to be defending and protecting, you didn't once pull out your, well, one of them did, but you didn't pull out your weapon in defense of the place and the people that you were supposed to be defending. Why is that? Well, according to the FBI, some of the insurrectionists were current or former law enforcement officers. Yes, those people up on Capitol Hill that were climbing a wall, scaling a wall, had zip ties attached to their belts. How do they know to have all this equipment, this tactical gear, these bulletproof vests, these helmets? How do these people know the best way to fight, the best way to attack the nation's capital? Well, it's because they were and are former law enforcement officers, and they use their training of the system against the system. And they became domestic terrorists at that point. We know the Fraternal Order of Police, the National Union for Law Enforcement Officers, they're the biggest supporters of bully, liar, killer cops. Whenever we see bully, liar, killer cops getting media attention for their criminal activities, it's the FOP, it's the Fraternal Order of Police. Those people are the ones that send out people to do these interviews in defense of the defenseless, in defense of the defense. Yes, I just want to make sure I said that right. So that's why we need to know who these people are and who these traitors are. So now I am going to show you who some of these people are. So let's start with some of these people are former, at the time of the Capitol Hill storm, these people were former law enforcement officers. So we've got the print is too small for me to read, but hopefully you can see that. Let's start with Thomas Webster, former New York City Police Department officer. We got Sarah Carpenter. She's also former New York Police Department officer. And we got Nicholas Lentz, former North Miami Beach and former Fort Pierce officer. And we've got Alan Hostetter, former chief of the La Habra Police Department. These people were former cops who decided to take their training and use it against the United States government. So that's one set. Now, we've got some more people who were actually working at the time of the insurrection. They were on duty. So let's look at that, at these people. And while I'm pulling up the people who were current members of law enforcement. Okay, so while I'm doing that, so a lot of times when, although I don't want to use the word sympathy, I understand the reasoning behind starting the Capitol Hill hearings off with law enforcement officers who felt attacked, okay, who were attacked. Some of them even died in the moment or later on in relation to the Capitol Hill attack. Some of them have been subjected to and were subjected to traumatizing events during and after, whether there was name calling, whether they got their head crushed in the security doors. There are a lot of things that were going on that you could say, wow, that's crazy. They were attacked and we should celebrate them as heroes. But on the other hand, my question, and why, I don't know why nobody else is asking this, why did you not, if you felt so much under attack, why didn't you use all devices at your disposal at that time to defend yourself? You know, like, what made you stop in the moment and not defend yourself when you had all rights to do that? So I think it's because some of the people recognized some of the Capitol Hill attackers. And here are some of a picture of some of the law enforcement officers who were a part of the insurrectionists on January 6th, who actually were on duty. They were off that day, apparently, but they were in employment, under the employment of enforcement agency at the time. You've got Kevin Tuck, who, after he was found to be one of the insurrectionists, he resigned. You've got Carol Cheswick, who, what does that say? Relieved of his police powers. That means he was fired. You got Joseph Fisher, fired. You've got Tam Pham, he quit. You've got Marissa Suarez, she quit. You've got Jacob Fracker, he got fired. Now, we're going to talk a little bit more about Thomas Robertson. And why does Thomas Robertson need a little more attention? Because this fool here, you know, it's one thing to be in a position where you acted, you got charged. Some of these people now, some of these insurrectionists, including these former and current cops at the time that were acting as double agents, they are now being prosecuted by the Justice Department, and rightly so, because Justice Department is a federal agency. It was a federal offense what they did, and so that's why they are now being looking at my time because I'm on a tight schedule today. Now some of them are being prosecuted by the Justice Department, and so some of the people who were charged as felons at a felony crime are now pleading down to misdemeanor charges. And the question is, why? Why would you allow somebody who would be so bold as to suit up, armor up, attack cops, and then break into a federal building and do all that these people did, post it on social media, showing that they blatantly didn't care? Why would you allow them to plead down? That's probably because, and I'm gonna let you ask yourself this or answer it for yourself. Why would they do that? Is it that judges, and there's some of the judges and some of the lawyers are kind of like affiliated with this, with the Proud Boys? Are they affiliated with, were they in on the planning of the insurrection? Why would they just readily allow some people to plead down? Hit me up in the chat and let me know what you think about that. But some of these people are, in the meantime, while they're trying to plead down, they are walking the streets because they are out on bond. They're walking the streets because they're out on bond. But some of them who are out on bond should never have been let out on bond. We know that. But Thomas Robertson, that's why we're going to go back to Thomas Robertson. Let's take a look at Thomas Robertson. He's on the bottom row in the middle. This guy was on the law enforcement, a part of law enforcement in Rocky Mount, Virginia. So he, at the time, was currently employed in Rocky Mount, Virginia as a law enforcement officer. And this dude got bond. And a couple of weeks ago, when the FBI came through to do a search of his home, I don't know if they got a tip or if that's just what happens when you're out on a federal bond. You have pop-up searches. I don't know. But at any rate, they found almost 40 weapons at this guy's house. They found bomb-making material at this guy's house. They found a grenade at this guy's house. Now, of course, as a condition of your bond, you agree that you won't have weapons, that you won't have bomb-making material, that you won't have grenades. But this dude had all three of those. And so the federal government, the federal prosecutors, took it back to court and said, we want his bond revoked. So then this guy, Thomas Robertson, throws his son under the bus. How did he do that? He said, oh, those guns and that grenade and that bomb-making material and that gun silencer, that belongs to my son. And had his son taken the blame for him. Now, how do I know that it was a lie? How do I know that the lying-ass cop and his son and that lying fruit doesn't fall far from the tree? It's because when they initially saw the weapons and asked questions about the weapons, neither the son or the father said that it was the son's guns and bomb-making material. They never said that. But when it's time to show up in front of a judge, when your freedom is at stake, now they come up with this excuse as to, oh, it's my son's. And now he's got his son telling lies to the federal government and federal prosecutors on his father's behalf. But you know what? It didn't work because his father has had his bond revoked. And now his son might be in jeopardy of going to jail, or he should be at least, for lying to federal prosecutors, because you don't do that. That's like a criminal offense. And so his son should now be prosecuted. They both need to be in jail. So now Thomas J. Robertson, let's go back to Thomas Robertson. He is now behind bars waiting his trial. See, they let him out on bond, and he went and bought a whole bunch of guns off of the internet and grenades and stuff. Now they find the guns, they put him back in jail, or they put him in jail, and now he has to wait until his trial date. So his bond has been revoked. Now, normally you will see that these people in charge of the system, they don't really care how long it takes for your trial to come up, because they don't consider you worthy of being out on the streets anyway. But let's see how these people work who are in charge of the system, and now they are at the mercy of the system. Let's see how fast they want to work to get the system to treat people fairly now that they are at the mercy of the system. So I say this to you people out there: be aware of your surroundings, because these people are walking the streets. The ones who are bold enough to attack cops, attack fellow cops, if they're bold enough to go up on Capitol Hill and post videos and attack people and go public with their intentions, I would shudder to think what they would do to you on the side of the road if they think they can get away with it. So if you look at what's happened recently, do a search for, because I don't have the name of the person, but there was a just last week or in the past few weeks, a current Army Special Forces officer who currently is working where he was. He attacked a security guard. It was a white man, white dude. Special forces attacked a black woman security guard. He's 6 feet tall. She's 5 feet tall. He beat her, took her keys, stabbed her in the eye with her own keys, drug her around by her hair because she was trying to do her job. She's dead. And they gave him a bond. That's what I'm saying. These crooked ass judges and crooked ass lawyers, some of them are just as crooked as the people who do these offenses, because there's no way a dude like that should have a bond. But he was walking the street. He gainfully employed. He's supposed to be in protecting the United States, and he's beating up people. That's one. Now, let me go back and say Thomas Robertson, that police officer in the middle, he was fired in January, and of course now he's in jail awaiting his trial. So some of them though are who got bond or on the street, and you need to be aware of it. So do your research, find out where these people are so that you will not find yourself victimized by them in the meantime before they go to trial. It's so many things going on. People just walking up, shooting people, and then claiming that they were attacked. Now, of course, we hope that the justice system does right and prosecutes them. But in the meantime, you got people, innocent people, just doing their job, just going about their lives, who are now dead because somebody was allowed or had the opportunity to attack them. So if I want to leave you with anything, family, it is that you protect yourselves. You keep your head on a swivel, like my mother always tells me, and I always do. Know the laws, work within the laws, and the same constitutional rights that these people are working with, you got those same constitutional rights. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. Don't let nobody come up in your personal space and you don't know their intention. Even if you're at the grocery store, even if you're at church, know who's behind you, know who's in your vicinity. If you go into a place, know where the exits are. Don't just be a vulnerable victim. Always know what's going on around you. Don't let people pull up next to your car, windows rolled down. You don't even look over there. You don't know who's next to you. You just need to be aware, because people are taking opportunities to victimize you. And in the end, you end up hurt and dead, and they going on about their business. And the way the justice system, criminal justice system, seems to be working, they're getting out on bond. They're being able to plead down, and some of them are getting coming off with lesser charges, all while you are hurt and dead, and your family is having to deal with that without you. So that's all I got. Ain't got no more. To find out more about the things that I care about, go to the written version of my journal. That's at eurweb.com. Thanks, and have a super day.